They wish to cure us, but I say to you, we are the cure. The cure for that infirm, imperfect condition called Homo sapiens. They have their weapons. We have ours.
Matthew 23. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. For they bind heavy burdens, and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders. But they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren. And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Christ. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
Hey, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Much mercy and true honors to you brothers that's in the spirit. That's really in the spirit. Much mercy to you brothers that understand this thing and that's not just following the crowd in the wide gate. One thing the enemy Esau knows that our people, they have a spiritual side to them. But one thing that the enemy knows, he knows that because our people have been beat down for so long, that Esau basically is raising you, in his society to think as he thinks, to be as he is, a murderer. The more heavy thing that he does, he gets you to think in a carnal fucking mind, meaning that this society teaches you to be carnal. It does. This society in no way, shape, or fashion teaches you to be spiritual, or to look at things analytically, or to really look at things through the spirit of the scriptures or the Bible or Yahweh Shai. Remember, Yahweh Shai was put on that cross and he was X'd out. And this is the place where the Lord was crucified. Now, that means a lot. That means a lot because if something is exalted here, that means that you cannot walk in the ways of Yahweh Shai. So what has happened in these last days, a lot of you guys in these groups, you've been hoodwinked and you've been bamboozled into following these major groups and these men that self-proclaim themselves to be men of the Lord and exalted and double honored, which the prophets, they didn't get no double honor. You have been fooled into following these carnal-minded men, which in these days, you're following groups and camps. That's the wide gate, which that's the gate to destruction. Now, what made me do this lesson? Because I had another topic in mind, but what made me do this lesson? Because this is it. We're at the end of this thing. So if you really can't get it, you're going to be through. You're going to perish with the wide gate. And a lot of you guys were meant to perish with the wide gate. So this guy, I seen a video of one of these guys in these camps. And the video was named... The name of the video was "We Are Not on a Blank Mission." And it came from one of these great millstone camps. Now, these camps at this time, they're in a carnal fucking mind frame. Their mind is not. And why is that? Because their leaders denied the new covenant. They deny Yahushua in this time. Now, going back to the year 2000, your leaders, they showed you that they didn't give a fuck about what Yahushua told them. He said, no man knows the time or the day that the Lord's coming back. But what they did, they told you that the year 2000 was the end. So when you look at that, that means going back way back then, they don't give a fuck about what Yahushua had to say. And we've been bringing out videos. You know, one of the brothers used to do videos on how they used to kick the brothers out at One West because they was figuring out that Yahushua had to be taught first, and then all the prophecies and all that other shit. But what really needed to be taught first was Yahushua. So what's happened with these groups? These groups now are spiritually malnutrition. They don't have a spiritual bone in their fucking body. They just have a bunch of fucking information. And the head of every man is Yahushua. And what they've done is they've made corrupt, carnal, old men their heads. They didn't make Yahushua their heads. Therefore, their heads are telling them that they're not in the covenant with the Lord until they get new bodies, which that's not in the scriptures. So you guys following that shit, that's why you in a fucked up spirit, and guys are doing titles. Titles of their videos is this right here. It says, we are not on a blank mission. So what that means is a lot of guys is really in the back of their mind. They're like, man, we might be on a blank mission, man. We might be doing this for nothing. You think? Everything, a lot of you guys, the whole thing. Now, what's good about it is Yahushua's name is being exalted and this, that, and third, and the Lord's being taught. But because a lot of you guys are under these corrupted leaders and you're denying the covenant yourself. They're telling you that you're not in the covenant, and you say it back like, oh yeah, we're not in the covenant. What that does is that cuts you off from the spirit of Yahushua. Therefore, you're not in the spirit of Yahushua in the new covenant. So you're not in a austere spirit. You're not in an authoritative spirit. Hey, if you examine these guys in these groups in these camps, they're in a weak ass spirit, man. They're in a fucked up spirit in these last days, and it's just getting worse and worse. The wicked are waxing worse and worse and worse because they denied that covenant. Now, because, you know, guys, they watch these big ass groups, and some of the shit they say is right. You know, we never said that everything they say is wrong, but it's certain major things and it's certain heresies that they're bringing out, which is going to just, it just corrupts the whole doctrine. Like the main one is denying that covenant. So therefore, when you deny that covenant, you're not in the spirit of Yahushua. You're not in the spirit of rebuking demons. You're not a fire. These guys are putting your fire out. They're quenching your fire. That's why these leaders were set up amongst all churches, amongst all groups, amongst all these things. That's why they were set up, because the true spirit was going to be out here. So in order to try to control it, they have to set up false leaders and false camps and false churches so they can try to control the minds. But one thing they miscalculated is that the elect and the true men of the Lord, you're not going to change them. They're just going to get stronger and stronger as the society dies down, as men are dying down too, because they're not in the spirit. So when you go to Matthew 23, and when you understand Yahushua, you cannot be on no high seats at all. You cannot be famous. You see, you'll be known by some believers, but it's like on a worldly scale, being double honored and being praised and making yourself big. And that was not the route of the true men of the Lord. The true men of the Lord always been underground. When the prophets had to hide in the cave, that was underground. When Elijah was on the run, that was underground. Even when you go to Jeremiah was through in the dungeon. The trace of the prophets, they wasn't double honored and famous. So I'm going to go to Matthew 23. Matthew 23 and 12. And whosoever shall exalt of himself shall be abased. And the Spirit is abasing all you guys in these groups. Now, you might not be the leader and the guys that's on top, but you're following corrupted scumbag guys that have taken oaths and bags and backdoor deals. And a lot of guys have sold out. And a lot of guys, right? And let's just say guys haven't sold out. You're still getting guys to deny Yahushua and the covenant. That's why the Lord said, if you're not going to follow him, bring him hither over here and slay his ass. And that's what's happening, because guys are not in the spirit of Yahushua. The spirit is slaying their ass. So Matthew 23 and 12, and whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. You're supposed to teach this word in a low, humble, exalted type of spirit. And this is where you find rest in Yahushua. The wicked, the scripture tell you that the wicked, there's no rest, there's no peace to the wicked. That's right. Because the wicked are always trying to find a way to lie and connive. And we know, guys, they come over here, they watch our channels. But the thing is, all you're going to do when you get over here, if you're not in the spirit of the new covenant or agreeing with Yahushua, you're going to get chopped down automatically. Automatically, you're going to get offended. And that's what this word is for. It's for enough people to get offended so the Lord can bring the judgment. Because you're either going to be sealed for salvation, or you're going to let these guys sear you for destruction. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help speed this thing up by teaching Yahushua in the spirit. And we don't have a respect of persons over here. We don't give a fuck about the famous camp. Guys glory in being the greatest and the famous. The Lord said, whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. So the spirit is abasing guys. It says, he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. Now, this is it right here. This is the key right here I wanted to bring out. It says, but woe to you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For neither go in yourself, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. You understand that? And that's what's happening in these groups. These wicked leaders, right? They've made a covenant with death. A lot of these guys have. And what's happening is that the men that's in the groups, they're causing them not to be able to get to the spirit because they're not in the spirit. Because the kingdom of heaven is just another word for being in the spirit. Because the kingdom of heaven, it starts in you. So what they have done is they're not able to get to the spirit or to get to the kingdom or to be in the spirit. So they're suffering a lot of other men to not be in the spirit. And you could look at these guys in these groups. They're not in the spirit, man. You got this one guy, the guy in Dallas. He's just full of information. And he's working with it too. Nobody is righteous enough to be like, hey, man, why are we denying the covenant? You know, give me a logical there's no logical explanation for it. It's just some off the wall bullshit, like we got to come off the ships and then we'll be in covenants. So this whole time you've been denying the Lord, and you expect to get beamed up, and you've been denying the Son. So what they done is, well, Matthew 23 and 13, but woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, a bunch of actors, man. That's what we have. They're not in that spirit of rebuke. Because if you're in the spirit of rebuke, you're not going to be honored and liked. So you have to be in a demonic serpent fucking spirit teaching his word to have fame and clout and for guys to honor you. So you have to be in a demonic spirit. And this whole world is demonic. But the spirit is chopping this weak ass world down. And good riddance to this fucking world. You see, all you guys out there that's caught out there, you're through, man. You guys in these groups right about now, you're done, man. You don't have a spiritual bone in your body. And you're very offended about how brothers is teaching. You're very offended. That's why we get bug outs on our comment board. They bugging out. They're bugging out, bro. They don't understand this thing at all. They don't understand Yahushua. They don't understand the life of the prophets. They have no understanding. And it's all due to your leaders, how they've been teaching you. They've been teaching you history and prophecies. And Yahushua don't even come like first or second on that list. When the correct way to be teaching this truth, you have to teach that new covenant first. But guys have taught opposite of that, and they've denied the faith. And guys have taught this thing for filthy lucre. So therefore, there's no Yahweh Shai there. Because Yahweh Shai, he didn't sit in a high position teaching his word when he came on the planet. Therefore, Matthew 23:13, but woe to you, scribes, Pharisees, hypocrite, for you set up the kingdom of heaven against men, for ye neither go in yourself, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. And that's how these guys teach. They know, like, they're scumbags, and they're set up to teach you to not be in the spirit, but be in an informational, bugged out serpent spirit, just like them. Verse 14, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer, therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. So a lot of you guys are using this truth too, to get women, to get tithes, devouring houses. This truth ain't meant for that, man. It's not meant for that. Now, if certain men and women, they want to help out, that's fine. But guys have made this a business to where they are suffering men not to be in the spirit, because they were set up to have men not be in the spirit by Esau. Esau understands that. It's going back to slavery, when they would have a slave Jake teach certain things out the scriptures. But meanwhile, they got your ass in slavery. It's the same thing with this truth. They got these groups and these camps set up to teach you heavily in certain things like history and prophecies. But when it comes to the new covenant and Yahweh Shai, they tell you to deny that covenant and that agreement. The word covenant, it just means agreement. So you got a lot of guys that's teaching these scriptures in these groups that disagree with Yahweh Shai. And so there goes your damnation. There goes your salvation. And that's why a lot of you guys are in a weak ass spirit. Now, verse 15, woe to you, scribes, Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. And when I was in the group, I didn't see that. I didn't see what was happening. But now you see it clear when you're not in groups. You see how guys are being led. You see how this truth is being taught. It is an organized way to keep you from the spirit. These camps are organized to keep you from Yahweh Shai and the spirit in the new covenant. So therefore, guys are not teaching in the spirit of Yahweh Shai in the new covenant and in the way of a fire. So we have a very demonic thing that is happening. The Lord called these guys blind guides. Man, it is heavy what's happening. So guys are making men twofold of a child of hell than them. They're making guys good actors on the outside, but then deep down, they're not even about the Lord. That's why the scriptures say these people the leaders of these people caused them to err. And that's exactly what's happening in these last days. And for you guys in these groups, there's no, and everybody that's double honoring these corrupt leaders, you're all on a zombie fucking spell. That's why dealing with this truth, that's why what I want to say. That's why, like, you have to really understand Yahweh Shai, man. Like in the prophets, like if you don't, then these guys that have been exalted by Esau and they get out the number, the cloud, and the views, you're gonna think that they're men of the Lord. But according to the scripture, the men of the Lord, they wasn't exalted like that. You see, Jeremiah 12:1. I'm gonna read this real quick. Jeremiah 12:1. It says, righteous art thou, O Lord, when I plead with thee, yet let me talk with thee of thy judgments. Wherefore doeth the way of the wicked prosper. See, the wicked, they're prospering. That's why Jeremiah was asking, like, hey, why do the wicked prosper? Wherefore are all they happy that deal very treacherously, right? It may seem like that the way they're dealing is the right way to go, but they're dealing treacherously. Thou hast planted them, yea, thou have taken root, they grow, yea, they bring forth fruit. Thou art near in their mouth and far from their reins. But the Lord of power knoweth me. Thou hast seen me and tried mine heart toward thee, pulled them out like sheep for the slaughter, and prepared them for the day of slaughter. How long shall the land mourn and the herbs of every field wither for the wickedness of them that dwell therein? It says, the beasts are consumed and the birds, because they said, he shall not see our last end. So the wicked, they're prospering right now. That's what Jeremiah said in Jeremiah 12. Jeremiah, the first one, Jeremiah 12:1, it says, wherefore doeth the way of the wicked prosper? So it's meant for them to prosper right now. You see? But what the Lord is doing in this time now, their time of wickedness is just about over. I want to read something else real quick. So what they did was, what they have done, they have got a lot of guys to be condemned and not covered by the Spirit in these times. And if you're in these groups and if you're double honoring these guys, you're not in the Spirit of the Lord. You're upholding the wicked. That's what you're doing. Psalms 37:16, it says, a little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked. So these guys, they might have all of the views, or they might have the clout, they might have the money, they might have the fame. But the Lord said, a little that a righteous man have that's doing this thing with integrity. Because a lot of you guys, you're not in the Spirit, so you don't have integrity. Therefore, you in a respect of persons because these guys are old. And I'm telling you, man, these old motherfuckers, they don't give a fuck about you guys. They got all you guys in a demonic spirit, man. The Spirit of the Lord is nowhere near you fucking guys, man. Psalm 37:16, a little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked. It says, for the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous. And that's what's happening. The arms of the wicked, they're being broken. And a lot of guys, that is breaking these guys. These guys, they're being broken through the Spirit. And what's happening is guys are confused because your leaders, your leaders are not in the Spirit, and they got you guys not in the Spirit either. They're to substitute for the Spirit. What they did was give you information, you see, and they give you sweet things that they're smooth, like that demon in Dallas, man. That guy's a high level demon, and the other demon in the SC. They got all you guys. They're naked themselves, and they got all you guys naked out there with no covering. Psalms 37:18, the Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever and ever. It says, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. So we're not ashamed in this time. A lot of you guys, you're unsure, you're ashamed, you're nervous, you don't know. This guy said, are we on a blank mission? We are not on a blank mission. Why do you have to tell guys that? You should have that full assurance in the Lord. But a lot of you guys are unsure because a lot of guys, you know in the back of your mind how your camp and how your leaders are moving ain't right, but you don't have the courage enough to say anything. And that's what's going to fuck up a lot of you guys. You're going to be destroyed because none of you guys had the courage to actually go against the grain. Well, because the Spirit ain't working with you guys anyway. Psalm 37:19, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time. Like, we're not ashamed in this time, man. We actually love this time. And in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as fat of lambs. And they shall consume into the smoke and shall consume away. That's right. So all the wicked, we're in the time of the Lord, what World War III and all these things, these evil times are going to bring. It's going to bring a cleansing of all the fucking wicked. The earth is going to get leveled back out because all you wicked motherfuckers, you got to go. All you guys, man, all you false prophets. Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 3. Thus says the Lord power, woe to the foolish prophets that followed their own spirit and have seen nothing. Right, a lot of these guys, they're very foolish. Your leaders are foolish, man. They're foolish. They're not in the spirit, so they're causing other men to not be in the spirit either. And Matthew 23, it breaks, the Lord breaks down the way of the false prophets. But with that, man, Lord willing, that was edifying, because these guys can't go into the kingdom, and they cannot be in this. They are not in the spirit, so they're gonna cause a lot of you guys to fall. And we've been warning you guys for the last couple of years, man. We've been warning you guys. You can't say the Lord has not set up guys to actually warn you from these camps, because once these camps became exalted and they became great with the help of Esau, because they didn't just become great on their own, but with the help of Esau, what that done is psychologically you taking man's mind and you molding their mind to where they're against the new covenant and they're against the spirit of Yahushua and rebuke. And one thing about the prophets, they were not exalted and double honored. So that right there, it proved that these guys were false prophets, even going back to the year 2000. So you can't trust guys. Yeah, they taught men a bunch of things. Even I learned a bunch of things. But what they also done too is got you to deny the Lord in these last days, which a lot of you guys, you're not in the spirit of the Lord right now. You're not covered. And a lot of you guys have been set up for a great judgment in these last times. But with that, man, Lord, when that was edifying for you brothers and you sisters out there that really see what's going on, stay separated from the wide gate, because the wide gate is going to continue on and on. They don't have, Yahushua is not, they're not in the covenant with the Lord, so they're not looking to finish this thing. They're going to be dramatically destroyed with the world. That's why these cats talking about we're not on a blank mission. A lot of you guys know that everything you're doing is in vain because it's without Yahushua and the new covenant. But with that, shalom.